All right, I'm taking a look at how to build a solo, single note line solo with maybe some chords in it over autumn leaves. And the way I would start is just with the notes in the chord. In other words, sort of arpeggiating the chords. So if we take a look at what we've got, harmonically speaking, we've got 2 5 1 4 to begin with, and then 2 5 1 in the key of E minor. So if I just start with the A, and then move, I've already moved to the D7 chord. So A, D7, G, right, and then C. There's my arpeggio, right? So already I'm starting to hear, the direction of where things are going to go. Two, like 3 4 1 2 3. Okay, so I'm sort of nailing, or trying my best to nail the notes and those the notes of the chords, and we should hear this chord progression, right? So and obviously a count is important. Now, this is way harder than playing along with a backing track, uh, because it's up to you to define everything. It's up to you to define where things are going and you always have to know where the chords are, and so it's a much more effective way of learning, where you're going. So if you do like a nice slow count and do 1 2 3 4, D7, G, C, D, C, E minor. So as you can see, what I'm trying to do before I try to get fancy and stuff, is I try to nail the important notes of each chord. The important notes are always going to be the flat three. I'm not sorry. No, the three or the seven. In the case of an A minor seven chord, it's going to be that flat three, right? Because that tells us it's a minor chord, and the seven is going to tell us, is the seven is going to tell us it's a seven chord, obviously. And then when we get to the D7 chord, I want to make sure that I'm defining the three and the seven. There's the seven. And then the same thing applies for the G major seven chord. I want to hear that major seven or that F sharp and the major three, right? Those are the and those notes are going to spell out, chord forms, right? I'm using a D13 here just because I can. All the notes are still in the scale. And I punctuate with chords as well because punctuating with chords just sort of fills things out and reminds me that I know where I am. And then F sharp minor 7 flat 5 B7. You see, when you get to the B7, you'll want to look at what happens in the melody there, right? You've got a D sharp in the melody because actually that C sharp and the D sharp tell us that it's a melodic minor scale. That's what the writer was thinking, right? And so you want to define that B7 chord, that tritone. Right, that's way cooler than missing it and just playing a G major scale or an E minor scale, and not being able to nail that B7. Whenever you see a B7, you can also a seventh, you can approach it from a semitone above. In other words, C7. Like that, right? And you can do the same thing with single note lines, okay? So what I'm trying to drive home here is that the important thing is to define each and every chord as best you can, and what is going to define the chord is the third of the chord or the seventh of the chord, not so much the root or the fifth. The fifth doesn't really do anything at all unless it's a minor 7 flat 5. Then you want to get that flat 5 because it's a defining note of the chord. Yeah, and so this is, if you work your way up and do a chord melody kind of thing, and you've already done a chord melody, and now you want to sort of solo over it, you can use elements out of your chord melody, but you can do these fills but the main thing is you always know. Where you are in the chord progression. This is classic, sort of classic jazz playing. Listen to some people that play better than me, like Joe Pass, for instance, or Barney Kessel, or Tal Farlow. Man, what a monster. Wes Montgomery. They're always nailing the chords. They know exactly where they are in the chord progression at all times, and that's what you should do as well. There are other ways to do that if you wanted to make it simpler. You can just take for instance, take the root and the third of each chord, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, I'm just doing short little lines, focusing on the three and the root, and then you can do the same thing through the progression, hunting down the sevens and the threes, and do those kinds of things in different regions of the fretboard. Big scale, no, not scales, but big arpeggio forms can be useful. But they can be useful, but they're pretty bulky, and they're a little harder to learn, but they'll definitely show you where you're going. So when I say larger arpeggio forms, you can do these larger arpeggio forms. That kind of thing, right? And they're good, and you can do them wherever. Right. So yeah, when you play a tune like this, you want to keep drawing more and more and more out of it. You want to just really get a feel for not only all the elements that are in the tune, but other things that aren't in the tune. That's what it's really about. Like what maybe I can find my own melody. Maybe I can find my own alternate progressions here that are new and different. This is the real true tradition of what it is to play jazz. Jazz is ultimately improvisation. It's ultimately having these standard tunes reveal other lovely musical truths, and that are there for you to discover. That's why when you go through a tune and you decide to adopt a tune, what you should do is go through a series of events that will teach you that tune. You do an analysis of the melody, you do an analysis of the chart itself, you do an analysis of the chords, you break all of that down into fretboard mechanics across your fretboard, and then start to look for other chordal possibilities, other harmonic possibilities that are all informed by the tune. And when you do brave soloing over the tune, I would really strongly emphasize, don't bother going to play along albums unless you've got the tune so ridiculously case already that it's just sort of a entertainment or something. Because if you really want to learn a tune, you should be playing this tune or any tunes like this as solos. You should be having this totally cased by yourself, and it should sound great, and it should reveal new new musical pathways for you to go. That's what it's all about, man. Right? It's like it's about discovery. Okay, so when you're going through a tune and you're building a solo, start with the arpeggios. Start, and look for those threes and look for those sevens, and you'll find that they connect all the time, especially in tunes that are basically 2-5-1, 2-5-1 over and over again. Those 2-5s will connect all over the place, and keep it simple. Don't get beyond yourself. Try to hear what you want to play in your head, and put what's in your head down on the fretboard, as opposed to a whole bunch of like blisteringly blind patterns of altered scales and a whole bunch of other stuff where, like, by the time you get into bar 4, nobody knows what song you're playing anymore. You've never heard that, though, have you? So yeah, okay, good. So that's it, and that's sort of a basic approach to learning how to solo over any tune. But Autumn Leaves is a really great place to start. By the way, yes, it's important for you to hear where where your lines are going in your head, but at the same time, you can never ever lose the melody. Once you lose the melody, which is playing in your head like a little backing track, Once you lose the melody, you've lost the song. Okay. So there you go, and that's all for today. Like if this helps you, subscribe. We would really like that. It helps us figure out what the heck we're doing, and if there's other tunes that you want us to cover, just let us know what those are. Thanks for dropping by. We really appreciate it, and keep playing, and focus on making music.